Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are so excited for these solutions. So Equalithons are our way of really bridging the gap in the tech talent and tech employers. And we see them as a way for participants to really build solutions that are social impact driven for our nonprofit partners. And it's really a nice way for not only using tech for social good, but a good way for employers to get an idea of who our participants are, get to see them work in action and see them in a team setting. And overall, it helps us build a community of diverse talent who are sometimes overlooked by traditional recruiters.
Well, I just want to thank everybody. I mean, I am just blown away. Everybody here has really set the standard for future Equalithons. Our volunteers, our sponsor PTC and their mentors. Thank you to Ron, to Rich, to Mark, and to our other mentors who I have to see if they're on board. Lauren Libretti and some of our other folks, Natalie and Abda. And I'm sorry if I missed your name on this list, but thank you for everybody's time and some of these solutions to our challenges. One for Asian Americans advancing justice, as well as Parity Productions.
So my name is Paula Hudson. I am the Senior DEI Specialist at PTC. I will just say a couple of things about our DEI journey at PTC because we're very new in this process. Actually, our whole DEI department, which is global, is 4 people deep. And we just hired our CDO in September of last year. So in total, we're about 7 months into this journey as a formal DEI department. I am coming up on 3 months at the organization. So everybody pretty much is kind of starting along in this build phase that we have. Part of what I first did when I joined the organization was take a look at the landscape in terms of what we have for employees around safe spaces. It just so happened that in March, we were picking up on this trend in the rise of anti-Asian discrimination. We had scheduled to have what we called a virtual listening session for individuals in our organization to come have that safe space. That listening session was scheduled for March 18th ahead of time. And then we hit the tragic events on March 16th, which was just the Tuesday before that. Those were the shootings in the Atlanta, Georgia region. What we did not know at the time that I designed the presentation for the listening session was that we would end up working with the STEAM and with Asian Americans Advancing Justice in this hackathon. And the way that we designed the presentation was actually to look at the stories that were up on standagainsthatred.org and weave those anonymous stories in to some of the anonymously submitted stories from PTC employees. Our purpose in organizing the session that way was to really just enlighten PTC colleagues to the proximity of these violent offenses and to really just have kind of like a more personalized view of the lived experiences of Asians and Asian Americans, kind of with the rise of the discrimination that we've seen globally over the last year since the pandemic, and before that as well. And then Hugo kind of came into our lives at just the right time, introduced that in April, Esteem was going to be working with, towards a challenge that would help solve an issue for AAPI community. And that's all we needed to hear to be like, yeah, we're in. Tell us what we need to do. Let's work together. Happy to do it. And it just so happened to be Asian Americans Advancing Justice. And the challenge you were solving is around how people can more easily submit their stories. So I feel like this is very serendipitous. I was so excited that we had mentors here that were part of it. So yes, thank you to everyone from PTC who has volunteered. It is mission critical for us as a DEI team to align our partnerships with our capabilities as a technology organization. So anywhere that we can actually merge those two together, that is an area that I think we're very interested in investing in. And so I'm really excited about this partnership and looking forward to all the ways that we can kind of support Equalithons moving forward.
So Parity Productions is a not-for-profit theatre company. We develop new works, and we also advocate for writers, directors, and designers. And the way we do that is by offering certain tools. One of those tools is the Parity database. And we presented that. And obviously the end result is to try and get people work, right? And to try and make it equal. Parity, equality, right? So John, and thank you to everybody who's helped. Thank you to Esteem, but John and Cailin in particular, I know have really been putting that time in. And we had 10 elements that we were looking to address. And I believe they have addressed 8, which is pretty damn good. So thank you to everybody. I really do appreciate it. But I know I only had 1 minute, so I did my 1 minute. So I don't know if you want to now give it over to them. I don't know how it works.
Actually, if you want to take a couple more minutes to explain a bit more in detail what you're doing and promote a bit more Parity Productions, it'd be great.
Sure. So basically, well, not only do we develop new work, which is new plays, but we also advocate specifically for writers, directors, and designers. And why do we do that? We do that because, oh, and I didn't actually say, I've really left out a huge thing. I've got to start this again. Thank you, Hugo, for making me do this, because I forgot the most important thing. Hello, women, trans, and gender expansive directors, writers, and designers. Apparently the pavement also hit my brain, not just my face. But anyway, yeah, that's the key element, because how do you achieve parity when you're, you know, maybe you'll be 8% for sound designers 1 year. Well, 8% is like ridiculous. Then you do a little bit better with directors, some years at 37%, but basically you get the idea. So I always say to people, you can't force people to hire, do the right hiring have the right hiring practices. You can't say to them, no, 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 that doesn't work, okay? The only thing that works is to say, hi, we know you want to do the right thing, of course. Here are some tools to make it easy for you, you know, because I know that you don't know who these designers are, these writers are, these directors are. Let me help you. Here's the database. It's free. It's free to use for the artists. It's free to use for you as a producer, as an artistic director, whoever's doing the hiring. So basically, that's the concept behind it. We have other tools that we've offered, like a commission, but we won't go into all those things because that's nothing to do with today. And so we were organized on, well, we are organized on Weebly. The search functions are not very easy. There's a whole bunch of things that we felt that we needed to improve to go to 2.0. And that is what the team, which is John and Cailin, have, I think, managed to do. I don't know, I haven't seen it the last few days, so I think they've done it. Cailin said in a Slack message yesterday, well, we've got 8 out of 10. And I'm like, well, 8 out of 10 is really, really good.
So we'll start with Parity Productions, and John and Cailin can present their solution.
Cailin, you are now co-host. You should be able to unmute and share screens if needed, or your video.
Thank you. Yes, I can. Thank you. John Rattana, my partner, is in here, so you can find him, but I will be presenting our slides for today. So I will share screen. And does everybody see? Awesome, thanks so much. So greetings from Team 3 and welcome to the Parity Database. I'm going to share a little bit about what that means. The Parity Database is a resource which seeks to increase diversity on the creative teams of theater and entertainment projects. And it currently exists as a website, and it lists resume and contact information for over 500 women, trans, non-binary, and gender expansive artists. However, as a result of its success, the database is outgrowing its current home, and it needs to move beyond its current model, which currently involves its nonprofit team members inputting and editing all of the artist data that they submit manually, which is very time consuming. And when you're running a nonprofit, there's not a lot of extra time and money to be spared paying people to do that when it could be automated, which is what we were trying to do this week. Parity's top 10 needs as assessed by their project brief, and then a little bit of discussion afterwards were: 1, a platform that could host up to 3,000 profiles. 2, other standard website features such as custom web domain. 3, a way for each member to create and edit their own profile, critically without having to contact a Parity team member and ask them to do it for them. 4 was an ability for members to add multiple production photos. 5, improved search experience for employers or collaborators looking for artists. 6, a way for prospective collaborators or employers to safely contact the artists, as in not having the artist needing to broadcast their email address right on the front of the page, their profile page. 7 was the ability to have a pop-up requesting a donation. 8, Google Analytics integration that would let them track their engagement. 9, enhanced accessibility features so that it would be an ADA compliant website. And 10, a forum where members could communicate with each other. Our solution was a web app prototype using Bubble.io. And we were both surprised that we were going to go with a no-code solution, I think, at first, because John and I are both full stack developers. So we're like, oh, we're going to build this from the ground up. But we realized there were 2 big advantages to this. First of all, we could get a user-friendly prototype up and running within a day or 2, we had something that basically worked. And then we spent the rest of the time adding on the features that were desired, but we could show this to Ludovica and she could understand what it would be. And that brings us to our second point, which was we could empower Parity with a framework that their staff could theoretically learn. They don't have to learn JavaScript to take over control over this. So that was a big plus, because currently, as I understand it, Parity doesn't have like a tech staff that is just there to do that. So so being able to teach lay people how to use this and control it in the future was a big plus. So our initial 2 goals were met by the very nature of Bubble's scalable platform, because it can host as many profiles as you want. You just keep increasing your capacity if you need to. And it came with all those standard features, their domain and things like that. So with that settled, more than 50% of our other goals could be met by working using out-of-the-box Bubble functionality or installing very simple free plugins. So I'm going to actually leave the PowerPoint for a second and just show in a demo. So this is an example of my profile page as a user. I have, my disciplines listed out. I have my bio. There's like contact buttons and things like that. We also have this slideshow of production photos. And when I go to edit, it's pretty simply laid out. Everything still looks the way it would as a profile user for the most part. So if let's say I got into a union, so I can add that and put that in right there. And I could say, oh no, I'm not a music director. That was a mistake. I'm an aerial director. And then we have this ability to switch how you want to be contacted. So this will involve sending an automatic email to Parity Productions first that they can then vet and pass on to me. If I click this button, then my contact button, when my page is live, will go directly to my email. And then we can find me in the artist section.
I'm sorry for interrupting a little bit, but we only have 1 more minute, and then maybe open to questions.
Okay, so I will. Yeah, that is fine. Right. Here, you can search by name, by discipline, or by union. So the challenges were that there was still a workflow and a learning curve to Bubble, even though we have technical backgrounds. It's still learning how to use a whole new software. So there was that. And there's the fact that we were both logging in on the same account. So we had to kind of figure out our own way of doing a workflow and some version control so that we didn't break things that the other one was currently working on. Second challenge was accessibility in Bubble. There are certain issues with the way it handles tabbing and labeling and a few things like that limit accessibility, and they don't have simple solutions. There are workarounds, but you have to do it takes some time. So we've made steps towards the goal of full ADA compliance with a plugin that was designed for Bubble by UserWay. But it will take time to make sure that is integrated correctly into all the features we currently have. And we want to make sure that we're being thorough in identifying gaps and finding workarounds for those, especially since the goal of the whole project is to increase diversity, to increase accessibility for everyone. So we want to give that the time that it is due. And then the third one was the Artist Forum. It's not an impossible thing to do in Bubble. Many people have done it successfully, and they charge $99 for you to just use what they have already built. But to build it out by ourselves was not within the scope of what we could do this week. But it's definitely possible to add in the future. So that brings us to our future plans. Most of the work we have upcoming has to do with fine-tuning the layouts and the task flows to improve general user experience and to improve accessibility, as we mentioned. Then there's also styling that needs to be done to clean up the look of it and bring it more in line with Parity's overall branding. And to achieve these goals, we plan to work closely with Parity Productions to close these gaps in a way that helps members of their staff build an understanding of Bubble. So maybe when we finish that, we could have some of their staff shadow us and make it easier for them to see what's going on under the hood for when we pass it off to them for real.
I'm just blown away. I really am. You've done an incredible job. And I don't expect you to do half of what you said you're going to do to finish. I mean, I think we need to have our team take over, but obviously we'll talk about that.
And I am honored, I am so thrilled that we have Liana Liang, who is with Asian Americans Advancing Justice. And I'm going to just basically repeat what I said last Saturday about Asian Americans Advancing Justice. When the COVID-19 pandemic first hit our area, the Metro New York City area, specifically the Northern New Jersey area, I felt really alone. And I didn't know where to turn. So just through Googling, I found Asian Americans Advancing Justice. And they were just a great resource because I knew that Asians were going to get blamed for this pandemic. And they had the webpage for the Stop the Hate, Stand Against Hatred. And I actually submitted my story to that site. And I also just kept up with your organization that is really a leader in advocacy, whether it comes to advocating for stronger and expanded federal immigration policies that promote family unification and other things that you'll talk about. But fast forward to my conversation with Lisa Amin, and we had come up with, Lisa was very kind enough to share your Asian Americans Advancing Justice portal site, which shares information about the affiliate chapters. So the DC chapter, the Atlanta chapter, the Los Angeles chapter. And she suggested either improving the site's UX UI, adding a donation page or section, and possibly a link to another section or page for people to share their experiences and stories of harassment and racism. So we have that advancingjustice.org affiliate website, which was built, I believe, in Bootstrap CDN, and our volunteers just ran with these ideas. So many thanks to Lisa and for you for participating in tonight's very special event. So I'm going to hand it over to you now, Liana.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tara, and thank you so much for inviting me. So Advancing Asian Americans Advancing Justice is a affiliation of 5 separate affiliates. We have branches in Washington, San Francisco, Chicago, LA, and Atlanta. So I'm personally from the LA chapter, so is Lisa. So we are the largest Asian American legal services organization in the US, and we serve more than 15,000 people in over many different disciplines. So we provide direct services, immigration services, citizenship, advocacy, and particularly because of the rise in the anti-Asian hate crimes the past few months, it's actually been incredibly busy. And it's been good to have work, but obviously it's not for the best reasons. But we're really been pushing the past few months to push our work to the forefront and advocate for our community as best as we can. And we're actually really excited in the next month and this this month, we've been launching several campaigns that include resources for how to be better bystanders in hate incidents. We're launching bystander intervention programs and such for folks that feel that they want to be involved. These are easy ways that they can have a hand and try to alleviate some of the pain that's been inflicted onto your community. But yeah, so for our website, it is very bare bones, and we were really excited to hear that there would be so generously provided some solutions so we can further push this information to the underserved communities that need it the most.
First and foremost, thank you so much for the opportunity to do this. We were all really excited and honored to work on this. So we decided to do the landing page design. So I will share that with you. Can everyone see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay, hold on.
We just hear you.
Okay. Okay. How about now?
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll go through from top to bottom, everything from all the design details. So we have, since the main goal of the design was to convert leads into donations, we wanted to make it as easy as possible for users to be able to donate. So, we made the donate button at the top nice and big and orange. One of the features that we love and that the team worked on really hard was a translation button. So you can translate the page easily. At the top here, the idea is to have either current articles, stories, because I know one of the ideas is to also have stories as a feature. So if there's something new that you want to highlight, it would go here, or an article. The idea is that, you want to have something current that when users come to your website, they see that you're up to date with what's going on in the community. And if there's certain actions that you want them to take, this will really, bring that home, because it'll be big, bold photos with headlines. And the next section is illustrating visually and with like short sentences who you're helping, what community you're helping, so people can see that quickly, the impact that you have, how you help, and another donation button. And one highlight that we wanted to add was success stories, because I believe that when you add testimonials and how you've impacted people personally, it really does make an emotional connection, and it's meaningful to show, how you've helped people. Then you have your affiliates that all link to the websites, and then the footer with another donation button in your social media. Something that we also like is the share page, the share button, which you can share if you make a donation, or if there's something that's going on the page that you want to share with people, you can click it and you can send it along and say, hey, check out this organization, look at all the good work they're doing, I just made a donation. And yeah, the idea is, it's also designed mobile friendly as well, because people are looking on their phones often when, half of the people looking at nonprofit websites are looking on their phone. So the idea is also to keep everything streamlined, simple, and easy to read and scan quickly.
Hey, Natalie, thank you so much. It's LaToya, everyone. Just a couple of other things I wanted to add really quick about the site. Natalie, you did an amazing job. If you can, would you mind showing the original site? Because that may answer some questions on your other. Yeah. So this is what we were originally working with. And as you see, this site was more like an introduction portal. So we went from this design right here that you see to our new design. And This original site was built using Bootstrap, JavaScript, CSS. So we built it using the same technology. So the site is built using Bootstrap, though we did use React, and we created components for each part. The translation section, the way we did a translation, we researched into trying to use Google Translate, but there is a cost. So the more users you have on it, the more expensive it is. And since it's a nonprofit, we didn't want them to incur costs. So for this page, we actually have a translator component that Danny and our team that he actually set up, and we actually had to take each line on the page and translate it over into the different languages. So it's like you have a key and then you have the language, and that's how we did it. If you scroll down, Natalie, I think there was like one more thing. On mobile, so the site is responsive. It'll work on all machines. And this section that says advancing justice, when you actually
oh yes,
mobile,
okay, yeah,
it actually turns into an accordion. So users don't.
Whoops.
It's okay.
Sorry.
You could just take it and inspect and if you click, yep, and if actually, yep. So there's the accordion feature, and if you just click on
that.
If you click on responsive at the top, Natalie, oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Because yeah, iPhone 6, I guess that's fine. So you actually will have an accordion, so the icons are left, so it's even more streamlined. So this is just the portal to get to the other affiliate sites, and you can get to the other affiliate sites at the bottom. This site is ready to go. If the organization wants to use this, they can have this site up and running tomorrow if they so choose. We fully coded it and it's fully ready to go.
So I should be able to screen share right now. Okay, because then everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Our team is AAPI Stories, and that consists of David, Fima, myself, Bach. For this Equalithon, we were tasked with 3 challenges to assist the Advancing Justice nonprofit. My team decided to work on 1, improving the UI UX of the portal site, and 2, adding a separate page for visitors to read and submit their experiences with racism and hate. So when you first approach the Advancing Justice website, you're met with a very static single page layout with large, overwhelming text and stock photos of the subsidiary locations. It's not very inviting and just serves the purpose of displaying dense information. The website is based on a pre-made Bootstrap template. This is based on us just viewing the code, and includes many unused features such as a single link nav bar and a context footer that didn't include any active links. We are very conscious of how a visitor may interact with the website and didn't want to overwhelm the user with heavy bodies of text. So our approach was to maintain the simplicity of the portal site and include clear points of navigation. We've laid out different sections to help redirect the visitor to their point of interest. To help promote the portal site, we came up with a thematic campaign to bring the community together and encourage visitors to read and write their own stories regarding discrimination. We purposely included this campaign near the top of the page to indicate importance. We have an affiliate section that removes all the bulky text and shows the locations in a simple and animated way. Our footer is straightforward and includes various social media links for users to connect with the nonprofit. We wanted to start off the campaign by introducing a hashtag, Stop the Hatred, to increase engagement in the AAPI community, as well as direct users to the Advancing Justice portal site. When the user enters the story gallery, they are met with several cards, some with audio readings and others without. We decided on audio recordings because it takes the pressure of being on camera and also prevents bias towards the person based on appearance. Hearing someone's raw voice also adds to the storytelling and can help carry a lot of emotional depth. Our submission form was based on the nonprofit's already established sister site, Standing Against Hatred, which we found was very comprehensive, as you can see. We wanted to include the same questions and form fields to ensure that users are given the opportunity to seek additional resources offered by the nonprofit. As soon as the user submits their form, they are redirected to our thank you page, where we include a toolkit that includes downloadable banners and examples of captions for users to share their stories on their personal social media pages. And it's definitely not easy to speak, let alone write about experiences of hate. So our intention of giving the option to write or supplement a written story with a recording was to encourage visitors to express their pain and frustrations in a different medium. By providing a transcript of the recording, we allow for more inclusivity and accessibility, as we understand that it's important for visitors to be able to read and hear these stories. And then in summary, we wanted to ensure that we maintained the organization's simple design and provided the space for important features. Our team emphasized the need for these AAPI stories to be heard and shared. Some things we'd love to add in the future include integrating a backend to handle our forms, audio, transcripts, as well as grab stories from the sister website by way of either a web scraper or a request for an API. We'd like to include a translation API to also reach more people who speak and read other languages. And in the future, we'd love to hear stories in languages outside of English. Some other design elements also include adding a dot navigation, as we believe most of the people reaching the website are using their mobile devices. So we hope to eventually achieve a responsive site. And I want to thank everyone for this wonderful opportunity. With the rise of hate crimes towards the AAPI community, we hope that our efforts to help the Advancing Justice organization will assist in AAPI healing during these uncertain times. Thank you so much.
I really loved, I think you put on the first few slides, how the look of the website is with like the different columns of the different cities. I think it's at slide 4. Yeah, love how that looks, and I like the minimalist quality of it. And I like how you integrated the stand against hatred features. I guess one question is that you mentioned, oh yeah, wow, that looks great.
It's a little laggy, but it should open up. And yeah. I did like your idea of having like a little text blurb of maybe what each affiliate chapter does. We were unfortunately unable to add this, but we just wanted to keep something very simple, something eye-catching, and all the images are clickable, and they will redirect the user to the affiliate site.
Yeah, I really like this idea of having the multiple images of each city there. It's really engaging. I guess like one question is, what did you mentioned about audio transcripts? What did you say you wanted to do with audio transcripts, or where they're going to be placed?
So the intention is that when you go onto the website and you want to look at the stories, you'll be able to see some cards with or without audio. And that just means that some of the stories will have an audio recording. This is the user or whoever is submitting the story, they are actually telling their story with their own voice. And the intention is that when you click on a card, you'll see the story, you'll have a media player of the audio recording. And if they don't have one, our intention is that even with the transcript, we want to make it as accessible as possible. So being able to include screen readers to read the story or read the script, if that makes sense. Was that answering your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And one more thing, I guess, where was the donate option on the website?
Yeah. So on our homepage, unfortunately, we didn't have much time to make a designated donation page. But what we did was, after we reached affiliates, sorry, it's a little bit laggy, this section will have information about how to donate and where the donation would go.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, I think it looks really vivid and beautiful. So thank you.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so here's our presentation. Let me open that. Okay, well, so let me do it. Okay, so our project is Protest Away, and this is something that we've been building with Esteem since last summer. And unlike the other project, this is actually geared towards like social activism in general for all kinds of communities. So not just the AAPI community, but we decided to incorporate it here because it can help out the AAPI community a lot. So just a little introduction about what it is. That's our team so far. So our challenge back then, we started building this because out of COVID, a lot of people couldn't go out because, some of us were just at higher risk. And even though a lot of us were out on the streets going out for Black Lives Matter, I was there many times. Some of us were at risk and wanted to find ways to engage in activism from home. So we've put together a platform where people can easily find ways to engage with the issues that they're most passionate about from home and browse which issues are most relevant to different communities. So we decided to continue to develop in a way that brings into that takes into concern like all the concerns that the AAPI community has been facing. I've been following a lot of their reports, a lot of the crimes, and a lot of the comments, and just following along what the needs are. So yeah, so our website is our platform is as you can see here, make an impact from anywhere. We're listing the different incidents. They can be big ones such as police shootings, or they can be small things such as employment discrimination. So the thing that stands out about us the most is probably our reporting and incident form. So Sudipta, would you like to walk us through that?
Yeah. Can you stop the sharing?
Okay.
Okay. So this is it visible?
Yeah, we can see it now.
So this is our landing page. It's called Protest Away. And what we see that though over 3,000 incidents have been reported regarding racial discrimination for the API community in the last 1 year, as given by API Asian Hit. But what we see is that people are very hesitant to come forward and report these kind of incidents. So we wanted to build a database which will be able to pull in data from the social media. So we wanted to include Twitter posts, and we have subsequent intention of including Instagram posts too, along with entering their own incidents, so that people are not conscious about themselves and they feel comfortable about sharing their data too. So here is our form. 1 minute. This is our report incident form. Over here, you can put down your own incident. You can just so suppose you can put down your incident name. It can be a one-liner, and you can just put in your location over here. New York. And there's tons of incidents from types that you can choose from. So maybe if I'm choosing employment discrimination over here, and we have added the Asian American API community over here. So date of incident, anything till today. And we also are including things like what else do you want to tell us about the incident? You can put in some description over here.
And maybe just a few more seconds or minutes, but how could it be valuable for Liana and the AAJC organization with the integration to Twitter and different things that you've already prepared? How could it really integrate in some ways?
Right. So we are putting in the data over here, and after we do that, so these are like we are gathering a lot of data. Someone wants to put in victim details, offender details, so that later on we can do a lot of analysis on this data. But the mandatory fields are maybe 5 or 6, because we do not want to deter people from entering the data also, because we don't want to make it too cumbersome for them. So when you hit the submit button over here, and go back to the landing screen. So you can actually see your data over here. So the thing is, then you will be able to query on the type of incidents that you want, and then date, event, and you will be able to see your incident over here. Then you may want to take action on the incident. You can see the description over here, and then in the take action items section of it, we will link you to the requisite civic organization which can help you in this matter. So we are still building on this part. This part is under construction. Action item, you can sign a petition for this. You can donate with a civic organization. You can contact your local representative. And also see in the top banner, you can connect to a cause. If you were to come into over here, look at the events over here, and you decide that you do not have anything to tell us, but you would definitely like to help the community in some way. You would like to connect to the cause. Then you come over here, which will bring you to the communities page. And this is under construction, which Christina will show you, like how we based on different issues, we are separating it, and we will help you to connect to organizations that are linked. That is where AAJC will come in over here.
I thought that was a really cool concept for an overarching incident website that not just encompasses Asian American incidents. You mentioned that the site will also gather data from social media apart from reported incidents that were submitted. So I was just wondering how is that done, or like what data does it gather from social media?
Yeah, so what we are trying to do over here is, like, based on some hashtags, we are picking up data from Twitter. We have already set that API, and it is that functionality is working today. So after the data is getting fetched, we are seeing that there is some data, the data needs to be filtered a little bit. So now we are working with a data scientist who is helping us to design means of filtering out the requisite data. And we will want to do this with Instagram too. So once we have all the data together, then we will bring in a lot of data analytics tools that will help us to, probably with the help of heat map, show that which are the areas where crime is rising, which is the area where more, refer it to the advocacy team. So we are currently thinking of in the phase 2, like a lot of work is still pending. But at the moment, we are thinking of if we can tie up with organizations such as yours, and we can find a place in your portal, maybe you can share a link, that will help us to reach out to the people more easily.
And a lot of what our news developments from this hackathon, from the project, they came from a lot of comments I would read on the articles about the AAPI hate crimes, and for the data visualization, we were inspired by I was inspired by comments that said, like, oh, before I travel to a new place, I want to look up and see if there are any incidences there. So I think it would be really useful for a lot of like your clients, like your community, to see, like, before they travel somewhere new, that they could go to our site and look up data in those areas.
Does anybody want to do a drum roll? I guess I'll do it. So the winner, as voted by the mentors, is Team 2 with LaToya.
AAPI Justice League, you made it. So you're gonna have another badge to your certificate. Congrats, and thank you so much for.
Thank you. Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you, my team. They were amazing, and I appreciate, this project. This project was amazing, and like I said in my my personal video, if the hate in one community, like justice I forgot what I said. It was a great quote, but it was more like, injustice in one community is injustice for all. So that's our main goal, and that's what we're heading towards. So thank you so much for allowing us to be on this project and for, for everything.